say hello. And if you watch the replay, hashtag replay, if at any point you have questions, just let me know and I would be more than happy to answer for you. So I kind of have my own ideas about where you should be starting. So who is this live for? This live is for anyone who is just starting out on their fitness journey, or if you are like recommitting to your fitness journey and maybe 2021 didn't pan out like you thought it was, but you still have some goals that you want to meet. And so you're kind of restarting. And so I want to give you some tips and pointers on how to get started or how to get restarted. Now, is this the only way to do it? Of course not. No, it's not. But if you have questions or if you have a specific like roadblock, maybe you keep bumping into the same issues, whether it be mindset, nutrition, or maybe you get to like a certain weight, like a plateau, and you're like, I can't get past a certain weight. You can let me know in the comments. We can kind of work through it. So if you are just hopping on, my name is Coach Steph. I'm a registered dietitian, a personal trainer, and a mindset transformation coach. And I really like to help my clients dig into the mindset first. So if you haven't already seen me speak before, I talk a lot about the mindset part. So have really great, deep, awesome conversations with my clients about some shadow beliefs, some deeper issues other than just like giving you a meal plan or giving you a workout. We really talk about like why you keep hitting this plateau, why you keep having these self-sabotaging behaviors, and really dig into it a little bit more. So I have awesome conversations with my clients. And my goal is really to help you understand what motivation is and how to motivate yourself, and then get consistent so that you can see the results that you want. But ultimately, starting that with understanding your mindset. And so, as normal, what I'm always going to add in here is some mindset. So you can definitely be on the lookout for that. So I'm just looking for making sure I'm on live. Hey, Natisha, Shannon. All right. We got people hopping on. Wilma. All right. Hi, ladies. So do you have any questions about where to start? Right. And so this live, like I said before, is for anyone who's new or restarting. And I want to challenge this, right? Like, I think that when I hear people say, like, I don't know where to start, either they mean I've tried everything I already know and it's not working, or they're not tapping into really the things that they really do know. And what they're saying is like, I know to do some things, but maybe I'm not implementing. So what questions do you guys have before I kind of get into my framework or some tips about where to start? So Jerry says, I have a problem staying away from sweets. So have you, Jerry, identified any triggers for yourself? Is there a time of month? Is there a situation at work? Is there a habit that you have? Maybe like some people on the weekend when they start sitting on the couch and was watching TV, they automatically start munching on something because it's just a habit. Like what do you think your triggers are? I think a lot of people have this where they feel like they can't stay away from sugar, or even though they know like, okay, this is an issue, they are not sure exactly how to resolve that. So let me know. I'm just going back and forth in the chat. Let's see. Not related. Are you on any other platform for this live on Facebook? Is yeah, April. I'm on Instagram as well. It's that Fit Culture for Her. All one word, Fit Culture, the number 4 her on Instagram. And I think I'm on YouTube too. But yeah, I'm on Instagram and YouTube. You're seeing some skipping too. Seems to have stabilized. All right, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know if y'all are able to. It might be because I'm streaming on multiple places. My issue is staying motivated, Stacy. Okay, so we're gonna definitely get into that about motivation, what that is, and whose responsibility it is, right? And dig into that a little bit more. My issue is menopause and metabolism. So, Chantel, I just did a live with Dr. Asia in the Black Women Workout group. So if you go to the events tab and scroll down to some of the live trainings, I just did a live on menopause, weight loss, and metabolism with Dr. Asia. And if you're not following her, you should definitely be following her. If you watch the live, you'll get the information to follow her on Instagram because she's amazing. Hello, my issue is staying consistent. Yeah. So typically when I ask you guys like what you're struggling with, a lot of you say like motivation and consistency. So I kind of feel like a lot of that goes hand in hand. And so I've been asking my followers, like, what do you think motivation is? And a lot of you said like it's the feeling that kind of helps you overcome the resistance. Right. And so I kind of think the same thing too. Like in terms of motivation, and I'm just going to go ahead and start getting into some of my points because this is going to lead right into. So in terms of motivation, it's your responsibility to know what motivates you. A lot of times I will ask somebody, okay, well, what motivates you? And they're not exactly sure. So in the past, when I've asked this question, sometimes people will tell me like progress motivates them, right? But you have to have some level of consistency before you can even get to the progress. So we got to take a step back and say, okay, well, if I have to have some level of consistency to see some progress, so then what's going to motivate me, right? And so you really have to dig into a deeper why than just I want a big booty and a flat stomach. I want to look good in a bathing suit. Like it has to be more than that. It's got to be something that is either a deep, painful why, and you keep tapping into that, and you're like, okay, this is not what I want. This is emotional for me, and I don't want that. So I'm going to get my butt up and go do what I need to do. Or your pleasure why has to be that strong. So maybe you have this idea of yourself. And for me, my pleasure why is actually a little bit stronger. So I have a concept of like your painful why, right? Versus your pleasure why. And so some people's painful why, they don't want diabetes. They want to be around for their kids or their grandkids like that. They want to look good for their husband because they're, having intimacy issues because they're self-conscious about their body with their husband. Like it has to be something deeper. And so sometimes people's painful why is very motivating. For me, I'm a type of person like my pleasure why is super motivating for me. So the woman that I want to be, the person that I envision myself as, my future self, my highest self, my CEO self, that like gets me going. That raises my energy level. When I start thinking about her and like giving energy to that, like who I want to be as a person, how I want to look as I'm getting older. It hit me the other day. I'm like almost 40, like two more years to 40. And I'm like, wow, like time is really going by fast. And that's enough for me. Like, but that might not be enough for you. So what is your deep, like core raw reason why this means something to you? And sometimes when we don't ask ourselves those questions, because sometimes it can get painful when we think we're failing, or we look in the mirror and you feel demoralized, or you feel disappointed about what you see in the mirror, or you don't even look in the mirror because it makes you feel something about yourself. And we don't want to go there, right? We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to really like acknowledge those feelings, but understanding, like, let that fuel you, right? Like, don't ignore the fact that this is something that matters and it's painful, but let it, don't beat yourself up with it. Make that part of your motivation, right? So say, hey, I don't want to be in this state anymore. So I'm going to get up and do what I need to do, right? So whatever that is for you, but you have to know that. That's a very important part of knowing where to start. Because every time you feel some resistance, you feel your procrastination coming on, you feel your self-sabotage coming on, you have to go back to that and be like, okay, like I might be a little tired now, or I might be procrastinating on social media, but that's not more important than my actual goals, right? If you wrote out your goals and you had, I don't want to have diabetes. Um, let's see, what's another goal that you guys that's a deep why that you feel like motivates you, whether it's a pleasure why or a painful why? Let me know in the comments. That's so insightful about why I'm approaching my 50th birthday and my mom died. Oh yes. Yep. I need someone in my ear reminding me to work out. Okay, so Stacy, I'm gonna poke you a little bit. Do you really, right? Is that actually true that you need someone to remind you about your workouts? Because I see this on Instagram a lot where it says like no one's coming, where Mel Robbins is like no one's coming, right? Like no one is coming to tell you to get up and to tell you to do all the things. Here's the thing. You have to get to the place where you trust you enough to be that person for yourself, where you love you enough to be that person for yourself. Okay, so Stacey, you said, I don't want to have high blood pressure, diabetes. I have several family members that have it, right? And so if you think about, if you've ever had a health scare, sometimes it's easy to feel like, oh, well, this will never happen to me. But when the doctor actually says, hey, like you need to get this together, and you're like, oh crap, right? It makes you feel some kind of way and you feel unsafe in your own body, right? And so for you, you just want to feel safety in your body. So when it's time to go and get up and go work out, Stacey, you have to go back to, I want to feel safe in my body, period. Like, and then the visualization process is so important. You have to visualize yourself doing things. Like mentally go through the actions and then visualize the result. And when you do that, you start to increase your energy level. And when I say energy level, it doesn't mean you're going to be like, yes, I'm so like energized. It's like, okay, can I get my energy behind taking action, even if it's small action, right? And so if you're on Facebook or even maybe YouTube, in my Motivation Mindset Made Easy, it's a 5-day mini series where you're in my coaching app and I coach you for 5 days and walk you through my steps to get motivated. So Stacey, if you haven't already downloaded that, you can get the app by clicking the link in the description. But it helps you to kind of see like, okay, this is my priority. This is my emotional why. And I have got to go back to that, if not daily, weekly for sure. Right. So Joanna says, she has pre-hypertension at 31. I want to stop taking my blood pressure medication. Charlene also wants to get off blood pressure and diabetic medication. Like these are serious whys. And as Black women, y'all, Black people don't live as long as other ethnicities. We don't get as good of care. Our access to healthcare isn't as great as other people. Like we have so many things. Like you have to control what you can control. And what you can control is what you're putting in your mouth, right? What you can control is you going and taking a walk. And it might not be a full HIIT workout, 1 hour workout, but you can control how much activity you're doing. You can control standing versus sitting, right? Like you have to take your own health in your own hands because no one is coming. No one is coming. Okay. So you have to care about your why more than anybody else, right? Because if you can't motivate yourself, someone else is worried about their own health, right? Okay, Stacey, I will download the app. Okay, cool. I'll see you in there. All right. So I want to get rid of inflammation in my ankles and get off medication. So a lot of you guys are on medication. So this is already like um that's a big why. So I think I've harped on that enough. So you have to understand your why, and you have to also understand that you're responsible for increasing that motivation. That is just means your ability to get your energy over the hump to take some action. And it starts with how you think about it. So, when you start your weight loss journey, your fitness journey, a few things. I kind of think of it in four tiers: boundaries and systems, your mindset, nutrition, and fitness. Okay. So, first things first, it's the new year. You're like, okay, let's, refocus. Let's get back on the wagon, right? You have to decide, and this is a decision, that you will be mindful and set boundaries around your time. You have to decide that you will set boundaries around your values, around your energetic boundaries and people who are around you. Like this might not be the season for you to hang out with your friends who always like to go binge eat at you know um, a buffet type of restaurant, right? This might not be the season for that. You need to be around people who are where you want to be, who are trying to get where you're trying to, like y'all have similar goals, and you have to set those boundaries for yourself. No one's coming. Okay. So, number one, set boundaries around your time and decide, let me see, I want to work out 3 times a week. I'm going to put this on my calendar and I have to protect that time, right? If something comes up, I have to decide, is this more important than my workout today? Can I move my workout to another time? Right? You have to decide to set boundaries. A lot of this is just simply making decisions. Systems, building systems is simply understanding how you decide on what you're going to eat for the week, right? It could be very simple. On Saturdays, I'm going to pick my foods for the week, or maybe I'll pick my foods from Sunday to Wednesday, and then Wednesday I'll pick my foods from Wednesday to Saturday, right? Maybe do 2 planning days. It's up to you. That's a system. So you have to protect your time around that planning time. You have to create time to create time, right? So you got to get your boundaries and your systems. You got to know why you're doing this, set boundaries around your health behaviors. And if you missed last week's live about goal setting, I gave you a whole framework on how to set your goals and then how to break that down into daily actionable steps. And that's what you need to protect. So if you missed that, you need to go back and watch that. And that's the time that you need to protect. Okay. So you got boundaries and systems. You have to take care of your mindset. So point blank period, you have to decide that you're going to take a little bit of time. And I would definitely do this in micro steps. You're going to take a little bit of time to work on your mindset, at least most days. So at least 4 times a week, if not daily. And that could be something as simple as listening to something motivational in the morning. I just finished coaching a client just recently who decided that, okay, I'm going to really dig into this mindset stuff. I'm going to listen to something motivational every week or every day. So every day on her way to work, she would listen to something motivational. And I tell you, she came on a call one day with totally different energy. I was like, you don't even seem like the same person. Like your energy is totally different, because when you're feeding your mindset, it's kind of like when you read to your kids, right? Like you think you're reading to your, 4 or 5-year-old, and they're not probably listening. You're not thinking they're really paying attention. Then later they're coming to regurgitate all of that stuff to you like 3 weeks later. And you're like, oh, you were listening, right? So you have to pour into yourself and decide that you will take some time to work on your mindset I would say each day. But if you're just starting out, start with 3 or 4 times a week. One of the biggest mistakes that I see when people get started is they try to do too much. They say, I'm going to work out 6 times a week. I'm going to meal prep all 7 days. I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes every single day, right? It's just like way too much. So I really want you to set very, very small goals at first. Your brain should say, that's too easy. Like I can do that really easy. That's what you want your brain to say. Why? Because if you're thinking, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. This is so much. How am I going to stay consistent? If those are your thoughts, guess what your results are going to be? How can you ever get a positive result if you're thinking I'm so overwhelmed? Right? You want your brain to be like, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's easy. So if you say, okay, I'm going to start off by working out 2 times a week, and your brain is like, man, that's too easy. It's not that you can't do more. It's just that you have decided bare minimum I'm doing 2. And doesn't it feel good when you set a goal and you actually hit it? That helps you to build some confidence with yourself, right? It helps you to build confidence with yourself. When you say, I'm going to do something, and then you actually do it, that builds confidence, that builds trust with yourself. And that is how you get to the consistency part. When you trust yourself, you can be consistent. So when you're way overshooting the goal and then you don't hit it, your self-esteem takes a hit, and then you feel like, okay, well, can I do this? And you're questioning yourself, and then you feel like a failure. So when you set those micro goals, you actually create more momentum. Okay. So you need to set boundaries, right? Around your time and around your values. You have to create systems for yourself of how you're going to actually get to your goal. So that could be, okay, what's my process for meal planning? What's my process for deciding what I'm going to do at the gym? Because a lot of times, like, we'll go to the gym, but like we don't have a plan of like what we're going to do at the gym. So either we kind of piddle around or we do something until we get a little bit tired and we go home. Like, decide, am I going to do, someone's program, or am I going to, write out my own workout? Like, make it simple so that you have less decisions in the moment. So that decision fatigue is real. So boundaries and systems, creating time each day to work on your mindset. And then the nutrition and the fitness is a lot easier. So I'm looking at my notes. I'm skipping over a lot of stuff because I've already said I'm trying not to go too long on these lives. Let me check the chat real quick. So another problem is when I work out, I feel like I can eat sweets and work it out. So here's the thing, Jerry. When your brain offers you that thought, like, ooh, I'm gonna eat these sweets because I went and worked out, or I'll eat these sweets and then I'll go work it off, right? You do not have to accept that thought, right? Like, you are in control and you get to decide, like, when that comes up, number one, you have to be self-aware and be like, okay, that's my self-sabotage. Like, you need to call that out and not like pretend that it's not there or ignore it. Call it out and say, okay, that's my self-sabotaging thought. So it's like you're coaching your own brain, and pick a new thought, because if your brain is telling you, oh, I can eat sweets and work it off, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go and you're going to eat sweets and you're going to try and work it off. But that's normally not going to work, because typically you cannot really, we way overestimate how many calories we eat, and we way overestimate how many calories we burn, and how underestimate how many calories that we eat. So coach your brain during that time and say, okay, that's not really true. Ask yourself, am I hungry? Is that why I'm craving sweets? Is my blood sugar low, and am I just hungry? Do I need to eat some food? When you do, make sure you have protein, right? So ask yourself, am I hungry? Is it time for me to eat? Am I thirsty? Have I drank enough water today? Right? Like, go through this mental process, because I guarantee you that craving that you have is only temporary. I promise you it won't last forever. Right? And so then when you go back, y'all, when you go back to your emotional why, right? Your pleasure why, your painful why, and you say, okay, are these sweets more important than me getting off these blood pressure medication? Are these sweets more important than getting off diabetic medication? Are these sweets more important than whatever your why is, right? Like that's what you have to realize. And then you get to choose in the moment. That's when you go back. And that's why it's so important to understand what your pleasure why, your emotional why is, because then in the moment you get to decide what's more important. And it's never more important. Like your emotional eating is never more important than the real goal of why you want to do this. Never. So that's kind of like the process that you have to go through. So I feel like sweets and can't kick the habit. So again, Francine, ask yourself if you're hungry. Are you thirsty? Right? You may just need more protein. A lot of us just need more protein. We've been eating too many carbs, and the more carbs you eat, the more carbs you're going to want to eat. All right, let's see. Let me look on here. Hi, Shabrika. Currently walk about 45 minutes on a treadmill. Yep. I want to start lifting weights. Why are you scared, Shabrika? Girl, you already know. Get on the weights, y'all. I need to do a live on how to start lifting weights. Let me know if you would be interested in that. But I'm a big advocate for lifting weights. You if you lifted weights, y'all, you burn more calories like in the hour. Say you worked out for an hour, you did cardio. If you're doing like moderate to higher intensity cardio, you can actually burn more calories during that hour. But over the course of 24 hours, when you lift, you actually burn more calories. You actually have more ability to burn fat. And a lot of us, we say we want to be a certain scale weight, but I promise you, if you build muscle and change your body composition, you won't even need to go that far down on the scale because the fat that you do have will just sit better because it's on muscle. Andrea says, yes, live on weightlifting. I've been toying around with the idea of doing a live workout. I think I've done it before a long time ago and I kind of quit. And now I'm getting the itch to do it again. So we'll see. It'll be in my group though. So, okay. I love listening to motivational podcasts. No one is coming. Yep. All right. So, let's see. Interested. Hi, Steph. Will more protein help cut my desire for more carbs? I feel like I cannot live without rice and pasta. So yes. So Joanna, whenever you eat protein has so many benefits, y'all. Protein helps to keep you full longer. And whenever we eat, there are hormones, our hunger hormone called ghrelin. When we eat protein, our hunger hormone decreases when we eat protein. Not only that, but when we get enough protein and we're lifting, when we have more muscle mass, our hunger hormone also decreases. So there's so many benefits. When you eat protein, let's say you eat 100 calories worth of protein, right? You only actually get in about 70 to 80 of those calories. You don't actually absorb all of those calories because it takes more energy or work for your body to break down the protein, and you don't even get all of the protein that you eat. I mean, it's just like so many benefits to eating protein, to lifting. So highly recommend. So like I said before, if you're eating a lot of carbs, you're going to want a whole bunch of carbs. It's just how it is. So whenever you eat carbs, this is my rule for eating carbs. Few rules. One, always have it with protein and or healthy fat. So like fruit is carb. So you wouldn't want to just sit down and eat a piece of fruit. You want to eat it with a stick of cheese or maybe some almonds, right? You always want to pair it with some protein and or some healthy fat. You also want to just monitor your portion sizes, right? So half a cup for things like quinoa or brown rice or something like that, half a cup. Pair it with the protein or healthy carb. And then with your grains, you just want to make sure that it has 3 grams of carbohydrate or 3 grams of fiber per serving or more. Okay, 3 grams of fiber per serving or more. So turn it over and look at the nutrition facts. So Jerry says, are the free weights better than the machines? No, not really. I mean, I use both. And if you're a beginner, you might want to stick with the machines first until you get a little bit more acclimated, and then you can do the free weights. So there's benefits to both. Whatever you're comfortable with, that's where I would say start. So we got boundaries and systems. We got working on your mindset. So as far as nutrition, since I'm already on that, you have to start small, y'all. If you want to change your habits, deciding to do 10 different things or going vegan all of a sudden is too many things to make a lifestyle. Okay, so a lot of times people fail or give up on your nutrition because you're doing way too much. Keep it small, keep it simple. Start with water. It's simple. When you're focused on water, you're not focused on soda, lemonade, tea, all things. Okay. So, what are the areas that you need to improve on your nutrition? Start with what you're already doing. Can you incorporate more veggies? So, I have a reboot, a 30-day reboot, where we take like pictures of your food. Like, okay, this is what you've been eating for the last 3 days. Look and see what your portion size look like. Do you see any veggies? Do you see fast food? Do you see a lot of lemonade and like sugary beverages? Start with an audit of what you're already doing. Ask yourself what's working well and what is not. Then pick 1 or 2 things that you know that you can improve on and just work on that. Don't pick 55 things to work on at the same time, because this is what happens when you do pick 55 things. It's too much and you stop. If you pick maybe 2 things, when you execute on those 2 things, it's like you build momentum to start doing the other things, right? Like focus on less, you actually get more done, right? So when you look at your nutrition, it could be something like focusing on water. It could just be like, okay, I'm going to take whatever I've been eating right now, and I'm just going to make the portions a little bit smaller, like every portion. I might not change the quality of my diet. I'm just going to eat a little bit smaller portions and drink more water. You could literally start there. It could be that simple, and just practice that for a couple of weeks. Then go back to your audit and say, okay, let's see how I've been eating this week. What can I change now? Maybe I've been changing my portions and my water. Now, maybe I want to make sure that I'm getting like at least 2 or 3 veggies in every day if I haven't been. So let me be intentional about planning in my 2 to 3 veggies every time, right? So it can be really simple, and understand less is more. Okay, so let me check the chat again. I want to look like you, girl. Sharika, where are you? Are you in Texas or are you somewhere else? We would love to hang out sometime. Yes, on weightlifting. Yes, on weightlifting. Okay, so I'll do. It'll be a couple of weeks, but I'm going to do a training on weightlifting for y'all. Okay. Any more questions, y'all? Keep them coming. So we got boundaries and systems. We have mindset. We have nutrition. Starting small. Starting with what you already know. Do an audit. Pick 1 or 2 things and start changing those 1 or 2 things, and then come back to your audit and see where you can improve, and then pick 1 or 2 things to then practice for the next week. So then the 4th one is just your fitness and how much are you moving. So don't underestimate walking, y'all. Like if you're sedentary, you sit at a desk most of the time, getting in a 30-minute walk most days of the week is going to be beneficial for you. Instead of what y'all like to do is start like a rigorous HIIT program, and now you like your back is blown out or your knees, like it doesn't have to be all of that. We tend to go from like all or nothing. There's like no in between. You can start out just by walking more. You can start out by like doing Zumba. So like there's times when I don't work out for a really long time. And like when I'm like, okay, I gotta get back, I gotta start, working out again. And I'm like, okay, I start with Zumba because I like to dance. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start out with Zumba, and that gets me in the mode. And then I'm like, then I go back to my, some harder classes or some more weightlifting so that I'm not like super, super duper sore. But ease into it. So pick a goal. If you're not working out right now, just pick like, okay, I'm gonna go walking 1 or 2 times a week instead of I'm going working out 6 days a week. And for those of you that are doing that, because I have talked to multiple of you who are like, okay, I'm going to uh, work out 6 times a week. That is not, if you are not like an athlete or training for something, no need. You're actually doing your body more harm working out that many times. 4 times is good. Once you get, maybe advanced level 5, but 6 or 7 times a week, you don't really need that. Regarding water, what's the best water to drink? Honestly, water, just drink water, right? Half your body weight in water. I know people, swear by alkaline water or this or that. Honestly, my professional opinion, just drink water because I don't think you're going to see like a major difference other than if you're not drinking water and then you start drinking water and you're drinking enough water now. So I would just say any water that you want to drink, whether it's cold water, alkaline water, lemon water, half your body weight in ounces is the goal. And if you get to that, I think you're doing good. All right. So exercise. So start off small. You can start by walking. Then you can graduate to more complex things like lifting or jogging or maybe some interval training. One of my favorite things to progress to is, so let's say you start out with walking. Maybe you walk at a decent pace for 30 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week, right? You've gotten up to that. Then let's see if I can take my watch and I say, okay, I'm going to walk or jog or run as fast as I can for a minute. Then I'm going to walk or jog for a minute. So let's say you're a beginner. Let's say you walk fast for a minute and then you kind of slow it down. Walk fast and then slow it down. Then once you get more acclimated, you can jog, right? Maybe 30 seconds and then walk for the minute, right? And then you keep extending that time where you're doing a longer, higher intensity. I feel like it makes the time go faster and you can burn more calories in the same amount of time. And it actually helps your cardiovascular health as well. And then graduating to lifting weights. So I mentioned earlier, if you lift weights, when you lift, you are able to burn more calories in a shorter amount of time. And when you lift, you actually need to be lifting somewhere between 8 and 12 reps because a lot of people, this is what y'all love to do, is get these 5-pound weights and lift them about 45 times. And what I want to challenge you to do is lift a little heavier. So whenever you decide, hey, I'm going to try weights, think about a rep range from 8 to 12, right? So let's say you're going for 12 and you're reaching for a dumbbell. When you get to the first set, like when you're doing your first set and you get to 10, 11, 12, it should be challenging but doable. That's how you know that that's the right weight for your bicep for that particular exercise. Obviously, with your legs, like if you're doing squats or something like that, say you have your dumbbells here and you're doing squats, you can probably lift a little bit heavier. So like when my clients sign up and they're doing home workouts, I tell them to have a light pair for your arms and a heavier pair for your legs. So once you get to, again, 10, 11, 12, if you're going up to 12 reps, you want it to be challenging but doable. Because if able to do so many reps, that's great. You can get a lot of muscular endurance, but you're not going to get super toned lifting really light weights like that. So, and then every 4 to 6 weeks, you want to be increasing your weights by 2 to 5 pounds, right? So once you start your weightlifting regimen, you want to do that for 4 to 6 weeks. So earlier I mentioned when you go to the gym, how do you you need to know what you're going to do, because when you get there and you don't know what you're going to do and you kind of piddle around, you've wasted time, and then you feel like, well, I'm going to the gym, but you're not actually getting in a good workout. You only really need, I give my clients four workouts, right? And they repeat those 4 times. And the reason why this is important is because you can actually track, oh, okay, I was super winded and super sore week 1, workout 1, but now the same workout that I did on week 1, I'm doing on week 4, and now it's not as bad and I can lift heavier, right? You can kind of see your progression and see your progress. So you want to just keep it simple. Again, you don't need a different workout every single time you go to the gym. You can just rotate this. And then when you get sick of 1 or 2 or all of the workout, you can just switch them out and then just repeat those again. So don't bypass the gift in simplicity. Okay. So let me check the chat real quick. I have no clue how to start, about weights. Okay. Boundaries, nutrition, mindset, starting small, and movement. Yes or no? Weightlifting. I found myself to become so stiff. All I do is stretch. I feel like my body is not my own. Yeah, when you work out and you lift, especially as you start increasing your weights, you might be pretty sore. Get a foam roller. Highly recommend a foam roller. Ooh. And I wish I had my, I have a Theragun, one of those really powerful vibrating machines, and it does wonders. You might have to take, soak in the tub. You're going to be sore, but don't let that deter you. But you really need to start and progress slowly so that you're not too sore, because I've gotten way too sore, and I had to be in the bed all day because I way overdid my calves. But yes, definitely stretching. After you work out, y'all need to be stretching. And then I have a 10-minute stretch that I do, have my clients do once a week. They have an option to do, because it's really important that you stretch, especially if you're lifting. Okay, let me check these comments real quick. My apologies, I missed number 3. Can you repeat it? So boundaries and systems, mindset, nutrition, and fitness. So you just have to make some small decisions in each one of these areas. Make micro decisions in each one of these areas. Start small, start where you are, do an audit, set boundaries around the time that you're going to do those health behaviors, practice them, then come back to the drawing board and audit again and say, okay, what went well, what didn't, and pick some new habits to implement. So Jen, what about yoga? I think yoga is great. Yoga is a little bit hard for me. My mind likes to go, but if yoga is your thing, absolutely go for it. Patricia, how many sets? So typically 3. If you're just starting and you're creating your own workouts, I would just say start out simple with a rep range of 8 to 12 and 3 sets of whatever you're doing. So if you're making your own workouts, I would definitely say don't forget the back of your body. A lot of times we don't forget the booty, but we will forget our hamstrings, our calves, our back, our lower back, upper back. So don't forget that part. There's plenty of PDF workouts that you could get online. There's plenty of free apps that you could get as well. So don't feel like you have to, don't let that be a barrier, knowing how to do this or how to make your own workout, because there's plenty of ways that you can find a workout that will work for you. My iron is low, so I don't have the most energy. What exercises would be okay until I get more energy? Um, here's a, I'm assuming since your iron is low that you're taking some iron supplements. You want to make sure you're taking those with vitamin C because it helps the absorption. Um, and so number one, it just depends on how fatigued you are. So you could just start out by walking, right? You could lift and lift moderately heavy. So that's pretty low intensity where you're just like lifting weights and you're doing like maybe machine weights at the gym. But also you could just keep it short too. Like maybe you could do a 15-minute workout where it's like a circuit. So maybe you take some dumbbells and maybe you work your upper body. So maybe you do shoulder presses, Russian twist, like a core, and then squats, right? And you just put that on repeat for 12 reps and you give yourself 10 minutes to see how many rounds you can get through. And it could be just that simple, just 3 exercises, an upper body, a lower body, and a core, 12 reps each, and then see how many rounds you can get through in 10 minutes. So you could start there. Kettlebells. Yes, I love kettlebells too. You just have to be really, you have to make sure you're formed. I see a lot of people doing the kettlebells incorrectly at the gym, and I'll just be like, oh, I'll be trying not to say nothing. But make sure you got your form, especially doing your kettlebell swings. I see so many people doing that incorrectly. I walk 3.5 miles per hour, but it's painful to go above that. Would like to start jogging soon. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who can't jog, do the elliptical, or I don't know, swim, or find some modification because it doesn't have to be running. And the thing is too, Sharika, you can get cardio in while you're doing weights. Like if you're doing a circuit, like I was explaining to someone else earlier, like you can do a circuit, you still get cardio in, but you're lifting as well. Are weighted jump ropes good for exercise? And what's a good rope for beginners? I'm not a jump roper, so I'm not sure. I'm like if there's anybody on here that jumps rope and has a jump rope recommendation, let me know and I'll let you know. But I just think the movement period is good. Yes, if you want to jump rope with a non-weighted jump rope, I think that's awesome. If you want to jump rope with a weighted jump rope, that's also awesome. The biggest thing, there's not like one best exercise. Is just, are you doing this consistently? Right? So if jump rope is your thing, are you jump roping on a consistent basis? That's the most important thing. And are you tracking that? So to kind of tie this all up is you want to have your boundaries, set your boundaries around your time, around your energy, around your values, right? About your environment, set your environment up for success. Your systems, you want to make sure that you understand, okay, this is how I decide what I'm going to eat. This is how I decide what my workout is going to be, right? Set those systems in place and so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you get ready to go to a workout. Mindset, decide, okay, I'm going to work on my mindset through affirmations, meditation, visualization, journaling. Like find a practice that works for you and do it most days of the week. Nutrition, start simple with your audit. Decide on 1 or 2 habits that you're going to change from what you're already doing. Change and practice those habits for a couple of weeks, then come back to your audit and change 2 or 3 more. And then fitness, where you decide, okay, I'm going to work out 3 times a week. Start out small, make sure you're stretching, but progressively make it harder. A lot of us do the same things. We go to the same gym, go do the same, and your body gets used to that. Or some people will tell me like, well, I'm on my feet all day at work. And it's like, yeah, but your body's used to that already. Like you've been doing that. You've been a nurse for umpteen years and your body's already used to that. So you got to switch it up. Especially I always recommend lifting weights, right? And progressively making it a little bit harder or just a little bit more challenging, a little bit different. So it's funny because like I'll lift weights and I'll think I'm doing good, I'm in shape. And I go to a Zumba class and it just moves your muscles in a different way. And it's good to switch it up a little bit, right? And so once you get the boundaries and systems and the mindset done, or like you have a good handle on that, then the nutrition and the fitness becomes just simple because you can just go for a walk or just go get your exercise in, right? It doesn't have to be like this big thing. Are weighted hula hoops effective? Yeah, I think that if you're beginning and you're not used to moving, and that's a fun way for you to start moving your body, yes. Like literally, if you haven't been doing anything, if you haven't really been active, any movement, any movement is you're going to be burning more calories. You're going to be increasing your metabolism, meaning you're just burning more calories throughout the 24 hours. So yes, if you want to do hula hoops and you're going to do that consistently, go for it. I love it, Tammy. Any other questions, y'all? So what I want you to get out of this is this. From what you're already doing, make a very simple plan and don't make it overwhelming. Start small. Make sure you come back to the audit though. What happens is we set goals like I talked about last week, or we set a plan and then we go off and then we never revisit that plan again. We got to come back, right? So set a time. So let's say after this live, you make a really simple plan for yourself, an audit, whatever. I'm going to do these things, XYZ. Set a new, like an event in your calendar to remind yourself in 2 weeks, I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to evaluate and see if I need to practice those habits again. Did I get in enough water? Did I actually execute? Right? Because you may have to repeat sometimes, and that's okay. But make sure you set that time aside to reevaluate. Okay. And so I don't know if you are just joining or kind of joined late. I do have a 5-day motivation mindset made easy. It's in the link is in the description. So if you're wanting to understand, we talked earlier about motivation and what that means and whose responsibility it is to create that motivation. I teach you in my 5-day mini series how you can get motivated and start getting consistent. So if you're wanting to do that, it's a free 5-day mini series. You can click the link and download my app, and I'll be in there coaching you through that for the next 5 days. If there's no other questions, okay, April, mine is painful. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was neglecting my YouTube tab. Why is it painful and pleasure? Why? I want to get back to me. That's used to. Yep, exactly. I love that, April. All right, y'all. So I don't think I see any more questions, and I've been on here. I'm really trying to get these lives down to 30 minutes, but I'll be talking too much. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for staying on here with me for so long. Next week I have a new live, but I have something to tell y'all. I have a surprise guest. So every Monday, 6 p.m. Central Time, I'm going live to talk about nutrition or mindset. But Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a special pop-up live with a manifestation coach. So I talked about goal setting last week. So I'm bringing on a manifestation coach to kind of talk about, I'm really interested to see what she's going to say. So if you're interested in that, Wednesday in the evening, it might be like 6 or 7 in the evening, Central Standard Time. So definitely y'all stick around for that on Wednesday. So that's coming up. So that'll be fun. All right, let's see. You're welcome, Jen. Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Joanna. Thanks, Adrian. Yes, Crystal, all of my lives are in the events tab. So I've done lots and lots of lives and training. So check the events tab in the group. Yes, it will be. All right, y'all. I'll actually see y'all on Wednesday. But every Monday I'll be here too. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. I have to end all of these now.